All right, everyone, we're back here at Bloodbath Beyond or Bloodbath Tactics podcast, where we talk about everything with competitive 40K and tournaments and list reviews and different factions. We want to kind of pick your brain on everyone, and we hope that everyone else can learn from it. Today, we actually have our guest on, which it's Dave.
Hi
Dave.
Hi Dave. Thanks for having me.
Hi Dave.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, and we also have Ben here as well.
It's your boy Ben, back again.
Our main focus today is we're going to be talking about World Eaters, and which is a faction that Dave plays quite adamantly, and that's the reason why we asked him to be on the show. We're really excited to have him here and kind of pick his brain. He also went to the LVO with World Eaters, so when they were before the data slate, when they were actually fucking good. So
I won it, just so you guys know. I won the
You
whole
won LVO?
Yeah.
Damn, dude. I thought there was some guy named Matt or something, but that was you. Okay,
me.
my bad,
Yeah.
my bad.
Well,
Yeah, and we'll pick Dave's brain about obviously recent World Eaters nerf in the data slate. We'll go over LVO, but why don't you tell us how you got into Warhammer real quick?
Yeah.
Is there an origin story?
A little bit, as it starts with many people from Calgary. We all saw that big red Space Marine in Games Workshop. One of my older brother's friends, who actually I just got into the hobby after he spent 20 years off it, got us into it. I started with Necrons. I was like 10 years old, 12 years old. Yep. And so I started with Necrons, and I would paint them by dunking them into the paint pot. I was not a disciplined painter. Yes. And then after, a few $100s later, gave that up just because, when you're a kid, you don't have money. So finally graduated from university, and was like, oh, I got a little spending money. So walked by Games Workshop. I was like, what's going on with Warhammer right now? And from there, picked up AdMech.
Ooh. Well, what edition was this then?
This was in 2017, so this was the beginning of 8th edition.
Okay.
And
when did AdMech come out?
Around
in
then,
that edition?
I
think something like that.
They had a starter set around
gotcha.
then.
Because they were like Scutaria Mechanic, because I don't know what it was before then.
Yeah.
But ever since then, I've been spending all my time playing Warhammer.
How many armies do you have?
Gosh, I have AdMech, Imperial Knights, Grey Knights,
Necrons,
World Eaters. And I have a small Space Marine hobby force. No Necrons.
No Necrons. You started with Necrons and just gave them up.
That they ended up getting sold somewhere by my parents, who were just like, sell these on eBay. I was like, I don't care about losing my virginity. Not
at that Attacker and Cax tournament, there was that one table, I think, like right near the front entrance door, like without that terrain. Actually, you played it on your last round. You were on that terrain I built when I was like 13 or something, and we ended up selling it when I was 17 or 18 or 19 to Adam Green.
Right.
No idea. Like at the time, we just posted it on Facebook Market and we just sold it, and then it just ended up going somewhere, and then it showed up here at the tournament.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
we played so many games on that terrain too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm sure there's been hundreds of games played with that terrain.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Did you guys repaint it, or is it a Cass original?
No, it was pretty much the same.
Untouched.
I don't know if they touched it or not, but it looked the same to me when I was.
Shout out to Adam. He definitely would not have put the effort to repaint it.
Well, it was weird because my brother was the one who noticed it, because he was playing.
That's right.
He was playing Grey Knights at the time, and he was like, hey, that's that terrain that we played it with. That's the one we built, Cass. And I was like, oh, wow, cool. And then he told that to Adam, and I was like, I do remember you. That's how I know you. I went to your house and I bought this terrain off you guys.
It's a small world.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Very small world.
Yeah. Oh, super small world. So you also went to the LVO.
Yeah, that was fun. That was.
Had you been before?
This was my third LVO.
Oh wow, jeez.
And this was on par with my second in that I went 4-2. I went 4-2 the last time I was there.
Okay.
I was hoping to go 5-1 this time.
Right, sure.
Because that's what you do. You want to improve.
Of course.
So I think a positive record is a good record. Though.
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely,
I'm very happy with 4-2. My first LVO was 3-3. So as long as
you played what armies in each?
My first LVO was AdMech, and so I was doing the robots that shot 1 million shots and did mortals on 6s to wound.
Oh yeah.
Basically would kill anything that they shot at, but it was at the same time as the Iron Hands meta, which was,
just a nightmare.
Yeah, nightmare.
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
And then the next LVO was Grey Knights, when Dread Knights were really, really good. But the Custodes Codex had just come out, and nobody really knew how strong they were.
This is just after COVID too, right? Like that, because COVID one was skipped.
No, this is
and then
just right before. This was January 2020.
The 9th edition Codex of Custodes.
Yeah.
January
2020.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
COVID shut
They were
everything
so
down.
impressive.
Before my time. No idea.
Yeah, I went against Thomas Walker with those, and it was oppressive.
Crazy.
I couldn't even move.
So you've played 3 LVOs.
3 LVOs.
It maybe didn't get the record you want this year. What was the I guess what's the way I ask this? What was the strongest you felt at those 3 LVOs? Was it this year? Was it?
I'd say it was the Grey Knights, and that's just because Grey Knights are my main army, and
You can't say that. This is the World Eaters faction focus. You're the professional on World Eaters, my friend.
Yes, I am. However, they have a special place in my heart.
Sure, yeah.
They were just really fun to play. I like winning games off 9-inch charges.
Sure.
Or losing games.
It's brutal.
No.
Like if you were to choose a faction between World Leaders or Grey Knights, what would you choose? Like if everything was equal.
I gotta say Grey Knights. Not that I don't like World Eaters. Like, it's a movement phase army. They go real fast. Like they hit super hard.
Yeah.
You can win games just off people's sheer, like, holy shit, I just lost half my army in turn
one. Well, it's just like a Magic the Gathering. I don't know if you ever played it before, but it's red deck wins. It's just a complete aggro deck. It's just right in your face, 100%. And they control the narrative.
Yeah.
Right. So LVO this year, you said it went 4-2.
Yes.
What armies did you play into? Do you remember?
Yeah. So my first game, unfortunately, was my first loss. I had a 5% chance into playing Eldar, and I did.
Ooh.
And
this is pre-dataslate Eldar, obviously, for LVO, right? Yeah,
and it wasn't the most tuned list, but it had the Incarn.
Sure.
It had quite a bit of shooting. It had Ravagers. So again, it wasn't the most tuned list, but on player place terrain,
right,
you wanted shooting, like lots of shooting.
Yes, absolutely.
Generally.
Yep.
And so there was a lot of shooting in that list, and it, with the Incarn, it just kind of
ate you up.
Got a little rat fucked by the Incarn one time, and then it was just I didn't lose too hard. I forget what the score was, and it was probably a 15-point game.
Sure.
What was your list?
So it was the typical World Eaters good stuff list. So it had Angron, of course, Invocatus, had a big unit of 6 Exalted, a unit of 3 Exalted, regular 8-bound, a unit of Terminators. You can get into that later.
I was going to say, some Terminators don't see that very often. That's good.
Yeah. 10 Jackals. You got 10 with Khorne with his Berserkers, and the Mo with his Berserkers.
Yeah.
And then instead of the Juggerlord with the Chosen Enhancement, I had the Mo with the Chosen Enhancement.
In some more Berserkers?
No, just on his own.
Oh,
so we start him in Strat Reserve, and we usually just bring him on turn 3. Keep him alive as long as possible.
And throw him at something. Or just hide him.
Hide him, and maybe he'll score Investigate or deploy homers or something like that.
If you don't mind, I'll pick your brain on that right away. Because I've seen, obviously, this is pre-data slate and everything. Yeah. People were throwing the, was it Favorite of Khorne on the Lord on Juggernaut rather than the Mo. Why did you make that change?
A part of it was the models I owned, but honestly, I just liked it more in that it's a cheaper body to put the enhancement on.
True. Yeah.
And really, he shouldn't be doing anything except staying alive and maybe scoring me a few secondary points.
Gotcha. So just cost, basically.
Yeah. And occasionally he'd go and just kill a character or something. Oh,
yeah. Crazy.
Oh wow! All right. Okay. Amazing. So your first round, you went against the Eldari, and
Colossus, right?
And it was a nightmare.
It wasn't good. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, no. How do you end up feeling after that? Like, do you when you lose the first round in a tournament, how do you generally feel?
I feel great. No,
good answer.
It was kind of shitty, but like,
it's only the first round.
At that point, you don't feel terrible because you're like, I'm gonna submarine this. We can do this.
Yeah,
right.
Maybe we pull out a 5-1.
Yeah.
You can still make.
That's a deep cut. That's good. I like that.
You can still make a top 16 with 5 and 1. Not that I ever expected to make a top 16, but you like to fantasize a little.
Of course. No, you have to have a goal. You have to reach for it. Otherwise, you never get there, right?
Exactly. You got to go beyond reach.
That's right.
But so at that point, it's like, okay, well, let's
take
just
it on the chin.
Take it on the chin. Let's still try our best.
You're having a good time. Who cares?
Yeah, we're not dropping after day one, regardless of what happens.
No. It's only the round 1. And okay, so you go into round 2, and you're feeling okay. Gotta submarine this. What was the matchup?
Round 2 was Tyrannid good stuff. You had a Norn and a bunch of Exocrines and some Maleceptors and some Gargoyles. Yeah, and that actually was getting a little hairy in that I put the 8-bound and Angron into the Norn, and he made all his 4-ups. Maybe he took like 4 wounds.
Super fun.
And it was that for 2 turns. He either made all his saves or all his feel no pains. Yep. But eventually, you'd bring Angron. I brought Angron back, and he was just chewing through, the big bugs and pulled that W out.
Excellent.
Not too much trouble, but it was getting a little hairy there.
Love it.
Oh yeah.
Easy game. Pretty easy game. Not no fear of losing by mid game kind of thing.
It was getting a little hairy after that. Really? Making all those Norn saves.
Norn. Yeah, right.
But
right.
It should. Going into it, I was like, okay, that's
a good
problem.
matchup. Like you're okay with that.
Yeah,
right?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Round 3 was. Bear with me. What was it?
And I think it was Imperial Guard.
No, that was my 5th round.
Oh.
How do you know, Cass? You doing some research here?
I listen.
You listen?
Yeah, he was mad. And I was like, that sucks, man.
It's like, how dare all these armies be so good? Okay, yeah. Third game was Necron's Canoptic Court.
Sure,
and so he was running...
Which was all the hotness at the time, right?
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
It was pretty good. So he's running the Nightbringer.
Yeah, of course.
He's running the anti-vehicle Catan. What's that called?
Void Dragon.
Void Dragon. That's right. 3 bricks of Wraiths.
You're right. Oh,
and World Eaters just chew through that list.
They do, hey.
Well, you know what? The Wraiths don't do actually that much damage in melee.
Oh, Wraiths don't do any damage.
But they don't do anything.
They don't do any damage. They're tough to kill.
And even if you're putting them on their invul at 4 wounds, it's just a World Eaters that you get 2 in. That's 1 dead Wraith, 1 dead Wraith, and then it's what you should go 18 Wraiths and 6-man bricks. It's you can just chew right through that camping on the center objective.
Right.
That's not real.
Yeah.
No, not against World Eaters.
Yeah.
No. Against a lot of stuff it is obviously not World Eaters.
Ultimately, I think World Eaters hate when you go right to the center and give them fucking easier charges.
Well, give them screens and stuff. You don't want to eat up screens. You would love to eat up Wraiths all day, right?
Yeah. Well,
right. Yeah. And so that's how it went, I assume.
Yeah. So I was defender, so I got to put my I forget what the player place terrain rules were, but I got to. It was Scorched Earth, so it was 3 in the center of the board.
Right. Yep.
Got to basically get 2 pieces of terrain on the objective. So he basically had to put all his OC on the board. Or on 2 objectives in the center to get his reroll hits. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to shove all my OC on there.
Of course.
And kill as much as I can, and you're not going to be able to hit back because you're not going to be rerolling hits.
Right, yeah.
Well, and I mean...
they still reroll 1s, right?
They still reroll 1s, but Wraiths aren't going to hurt you anyway.
Yeah, they're hitting on 4s.
It doesn't matter. Hitting on 4s, a couple little chip damage here and there. Like
they can't outtrade you.
No, they can't outtrade you. Yeah, you beat them up.
It's a bad matchup for them.
It's a super bad matchup.
Yeah. So I took that down very easily. Yeah. And the 4th game was against 12 Armigers, Chaos Armigers. Mm-hmm. And
there are War Dogs in Chaos, not Armigers.
Oh, sorry.
Okay? How dare you? You're a loyalist player, all right?
Yeah.
We wish we could have carnivores and friggin' brigands.
That move through terrain freely.
Right? Can you imagine?
It was bad, though. The map I got was... it was Sites of Power, so it was Longboard.
Yep. Oh, no.
Yep. And I unfortunately got the bad luck of getting a table where it already had a centerpiece. So how it worked with player place terrain is you had to move it on either side. And if you step into that terrain, you basically can be seen and you just get cover.
Oh, so they would do like a magic box rule.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Magic box that you can see into.
But yeah, okay, sure, yeah. Even worse, yeah.
So kind of magic box. Interesting.
What's the magician? He's David Copperfield's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Name a magician right now, quick.
Yeah, name one. I got it. Chris Angel. Sure. All right, cool.
Yeah. Mind freak.
That's
so good.
It was.
How'd it go?
It was
Not
a
great.
mind freak.
Not great.
In
You
a
did
bad
get
way.
mind
Actually, you
freaked.
were in Vegas. That would have been a mind freak.
Yeah.
Anyways.
David Copperfield was, I think he had a permanent residency in Vegas. So you're on the right track.
I've seen him live
Have you?
No way.
Is he
in
still alive?
Medicine Hat.
No,
Is David
no.
Copperfield still alive?
I'm not kidding. It was okay. It was obviously amazing or whatever, but like it was cool.
It was pretty cool.
Do you feel like he felt bad being in Medicine Hat?
I don't know. Maybe he had like an aunt there or something, or an uncle, and he's
give him
like,
a
"All right,
little
I'll
show."
do a show in this auditorium that fits 10,000 people."
But he
and-
killed it.
Yeah, of
we-
course. It's David Copperfield. Yeah, I mean,
Man, no,
the man's always on, right?
well, it was it was cool. Like he'd run into a fan, and then he would like appear behind me, and I'm like,
How even?
I don't know. It was cool. It was sweet. I don't.
That's good shit.
Yeah. Anyways,
Who doesn't love it?
LVO.
Yeah, who doesn't love it? Yeah, of course. Back
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
So Chaos Knights didn't feel great.
No, because so the shitty thing was he won the roll off to
Right.
put terrain down, and there was a forest that of course just gave
Yep.
cover if you
Yep.
shoot through it.
Right.
Put that right on the line, and so he made it so effectively I could not hold one of the center objectives with a piece of terrain on it. So if I wanted to hold one of the center objectives, he could see me.
Got it. Right. Right. So you're screwed.
Yeah, and all his shooting, he has a ton of Malta,
Yep.
and all his melee is strength 12.
Yeah. It's
And his
crazy.
Malta is strength 12.
Carnivores are just nuts.
Angron's T11.
Right. Sure.
All my 8-pounder T6.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
just
twos and threes,
nice
yeah.
profiles.
Yeah,
loved
Couldn't
it.
play the mission. No conceivable way I could win that game.
Yeah.
Unless Angron comes back like
I feel
every
that.
turn.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Yep,
And
I feel
explodes every turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it explodes every time he dies.
Lands,
Yeah.
kills something, explodes, comes back. There's no, it's not happening.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
happening.
And he's rolling ones. And the opponent's rolling ones.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was like, okay. And that was the morning of the second day. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let's just try and go 4-2.
Morning of right. So it's 3-3. Friday 3, Saturday 3.
That's right.
Okay. So this is game 4, Saturday.
Yeah. Game 4.
So you took your two losses,
2 losses at that point.
Early.
I'm
but you powered through.
2-2. So I'm getting a little sweaty here.
Right.
I'm getting a little sweaty.
Yeah.
Game 5 was a World Eater matchup, and this,
Oh, mirror match.
yeah,
Okay.
this was fun. So I go first.
Yeah.
I kill his Angron
First turn. Second turn.
first turn.
First turn. Wow.
with my
Okay.
Angron.
Oh shit! Angron to be Angron at
Yeah,
violence.
his Angron
Love it.
fights on death.
Of course.
Kills my Angron.
Wow.
He does it.
So
He
he-
explodes. Just say it.
No.
Ah!
Next turn, both get our Angrons back.
Jesus
wow.
Murphy. So he picked
That
in
is
his
fun.
blessings roll the fight on death.
That's what you do in the mirror match. Yeah,
Right. I guess that's right. In the mirror match, you would do that, wouldn't you?
yeah.
Well, you beat each
On
other's
turn
You
1,
beat each other's face.
You just
right?
like you're lining it up, and I guess you're both lining it up, ready for whoever goes first. If you can, obviously you take. Yeah, fight on death, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
fair
getting
enough.
charged. Like basically everything's getting charged. It was
What a wild.
it
mirror
was
match.
the corners. So it's 18 inches apart from each other.
Yeah, the search and destroy,
Search and destroy.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
So basically, I touched his whole arm.
Right.
And
and he touches yours.
Yep. So he got his back. Turn 2.
Yes.
And then it was just like trading. I killed it again.
Yeah.
Turn 2.
Yeah.
My Angron stomping around. It's good. It's all good.
Right.
But then he gets his Angron back a third time.
Wow.
Like, okay.
Love it.
It's getting a little hairy here.
So
Killed it
he-
a third
he-
time.
did
Getting a
you-
little hairy. Okay, so all right, now what?
I got I just was able to pull back and just score more primaries
Okay,
just
sure.
because I got first turn. Not that I would say I won because I got first turn, but it I'm not saying it didn't
Oh, it
help.
helps. For sure it helps.
It
Of
sure
course
for sure
helps.
helps.
Of course it helps.
But getting Angron 3 times in a game is
Wow. That's crazy.
is a lot.
and
So
did you lose your Angron in that fight on death in turn 1 or no?
no, I just sent him killing
Okay.
like small things.
So
So
you never lost Angron, or
I
eventually at some point?
I think I lost him on turn 5,
But
but
whatever,
at that
it
point,
didn't matter
yeah,
anyway. Yeah, gotcha. So you killed his. His came back a couple times, but yours was just rampaging the whole time.
Yeah. So
Right.
that was a pretty close game.
Yeah.
Maybe not on points. Maybe I won by like 20, 30 points, but on the table it was very, very close. Yeah. Who cares about a Beyblade? Well,
Wow. But shots fired.
no. There was a Beyblade who I don't know if he made top 16 at LVO, which is insane. So you don't think about that.
You think? Oh, you think he did make top 16?
No, there was a Baneblade.
Oh,
that
there
made
was one.
top
That's right. There
16.
was a super heavy guard list. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I don't know if you don't know if it was him or not though.
No, it was not him because
It was not
we
him,
were
notably. Okay.
we were like 3-2 at that point.
Right. Of course. Right. You're playing in the
Yeah,
mid tier bracket.
the Chomskys.
Well, the Winnenins.
the Winnenids.
Oh, the Winnenins, because like so in Magic, how you would do it, because I used to I said it on the podcast before, but I'll say to you, I used to travel like all over America for Magic and just in tournaments and in general.
cool.
So you're on your winning matchup, so you have to keep on going. If you're at X and 2, you can't lose again, because if you lose again, you're out.
Right.
There's no chance of you getting anything. If you're playing, you're just playing for fucking
Just for funsies. Yeah.
well, which is not fun, because you're already sad, you're already losing, and so you're on your winning end, so you cannot lose. So you have to keep on going into your X and 2 record.
Understood.
So if you are in a tournament and you're X and 2 and you go against another X and 2, so if you're on an X and 2 record and you're going against another X and 2, whoever you are beating, if you do win, they're out.
Right.
So that's
right,
you're always like
right.
skirting this line. Right. Now, if you're X and 1, you're like, that's okay. I can afford to lose
You
one.
got some wiggle room.
Yeah, but not at X and 2.
Right,
so
right.
you're basically on your winning end. And you're going against all the same people that are also on the winning end.
Right.
So it's a very, very stressful
everybody's
time.
desperate.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying hard. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyways, so you're on your winning end.
Into the guard.
Well, yes and no, because at that point people are just like, I'm not doing that well. Let's just have fun. But at the same time, it's like, I'd like to be 4-2.
yeah, for sure. You
But so it is still, there is still a degree of competitiveness, but you just want to have fun at that point. Like,
Yeah.
And by round 6, I also I got a fever. I was almost about to shit my
you got
pants.
the con
Oh no.
Yeah, I got the LVO flu.
The LVO flu, right? Yeah.
Was it going around or something, or?
I mean, at these big things, it's like a notorious thing. Everybody gets sick. Everybody's close, up for hours and hours and hours, and
Yeah.
it's gonna happen.
Yeah. So by round 6, maybe an hour through, I was like rolling dice, like, hey, Gron, come back.
And you're losing your voice too, so you're hating life. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I need to shit my pants, and there's about 2 hours left in this game. But it was a pretty good game in that it was close. A Lehman Russ with full kitted out with full plasmas. Took out 6 8-bound just in
holy.
sure.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So it was like 1 unit shooting killed, a fifth of my army.
Right.
A sixth of my army.
How much points is that?
200, I think.
200. Okay.
Around 200.
Yeah.
Exalted.
6 exalted, yeah. With the
exalted.
5
More
up feel
than
no
200,
pan. Yeah, I'm sure he spiked.
I thought they were like 330 or something.
It's a lot. That's a lot of points.
Anyways, it doesn't matter.
150
Well, it does, but-
pre-dataslate for
Oh
3.
yeah, I might have
So 300
dataslate
points.
numbers here.
300 points. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
3. Yes, you're exactly
Yeah.
right. 300 because it's
And
320.
and now what? And we're gonna get into this next. But what is it now?
It's 320 for the 6.
Yeah, 320. Both
now
variants
it's
went up 10 points.
That's right. Right. The small squad went up 10. That makes
Okay.
sense.
All right. Well, but overall,
So that was but you did win that game.
I did win that game,
Right.
yeah.
You took it down. Realized that Lehman Russ is hurt, but no indirect in that list.
No indirect, yeah.
That's
So
'cause-
it wasn't min-max too hard,
Well, because I think World Eaters into a proper indirect guard would suck.
but that would suck.
yeah,
especially
3
with the
Mandicores. You're just like
minus
Dude.
2 to movement and advance.
Yeah, so if they take
that's a
Basilisks
nightmare.
instead of Manticores and just they just play way back, right? And shoot you for 2 rounds before they even put anything up, and then
This seems like a stupid question, and this is only because my mind's in 9th. Do they still ignore indirect?
what do you mean? Who ignores it?
They can get hitting on 2s, the Basilisks.
Oh, really?
Their ways.
Isn't
yes.
it Mandicores?
They're both. Those are both indirect pieces.
Yeah.
Manticores are the higher strength. Basilisk is the one that affects your movement.
How do they get +2 or to 2s?
Well, so they're heavy. So that's their +1 to their to hit, and then they can get an order for take aim, which is +1 to ballistic skill, which does stack because it's hitting.
Does it
2
still
different
get
things.
cover though?
You still get cover, but you can do things like scout sentinels to get rid of cover. Like there's ways to work around it.
Gotcha.
Guard can do crazy indirect stuff.
Because
right?
in 9th edition, It was they just ignore that indirect rule entirely.
Oh, you just don't get it indirect.
They just don't get it.
Yeah.
It's there, but they ignored it. So they don't get the but also in ninth, it was -1 ballistic skill.
Right.
And the benefit of cover.
Right. Yeah.
So what could happen? But if you had like a tree line or something or dense cover in that direct line,
right,
it would stack. But they would they would ignore the -1 ballistic skill, but they would get the -1 to hit.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's how it worked in ninth. Yeah. But that's when I was just like, that's why my ignorance comes up, because I'm like, okay, did they still ignore cover? Because they did entirely. They were also getting their ass kicked until their codex came out, and it was only playable for 2 months. It was amazing.
Guard's an interesting one. We're not going to focus on guard today, but there's a lot of people saying post-dataslate that guard is going to be like the big boogeyman. We'll see.
Who says that?
Maybe Art War didn't have them very high, but I've seen a few different tier lists saying they're like for team play specifically, because they have good matchups into the big guys.
Oh, that would make sense.
Necrons, into Black Templar, your
don't know about
Custodies.
Into team play?
No, because the half damage really hurts them, and then
the
strength 10 breakdown.
Sure.
Yeah,
right.
That's right. Yeah,
not in Catan, but obliterate immortal squads for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
doesn't do super great in the wraiths, so maybe Canop Tech takes a better. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
But without getting too sidetracked, LVO on the whole, success in your mind? Did you have fun? You were sick at the end. Shit happens.
Was that a pun or?
Hey.
Oh, fuck. It was good. My second LVO was the most enjoyable.
Right.
Just because I did not get sick. If I did not get sick, it would have been a 9 out of 10.
And on a scale from 1 being I did not have a single drop to drink, and 10 being like the Hangover movie, how drunk were you the whole time?
5. I was a 5.
Comfortable 5.
On the Thursday, we had a nice dinner, got a few drinks. On the Friday, got a nice dinner, had a few drinks, played some craps, got some free drinks from the lady, and then gave her a couple dollars and never saw her again.
As you do.
But on Saturdays, that's when you do most of your drinking, Saturday night, right? And then I just couldn't,
Because Sunday, most people are gone anyway. It's just the big boys playing Sunday, right?
Exactly.
Right. Very cool. Well, that's amazing. I mean, 3 LVOs is impressive. It's a dream of mine to visit
next year
for LVO one time.
Yeah, we're doing it next year.
Let's go.
Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it next year. We're doing it
once the podcast takes off, and we're gonna go do the podcast in LVO in Vegas.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Yeah. We'll have our own booth. Is what we're gonna have. Right.
Artivore status. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, I am 34, and I've never been to Vegas.
I went to Vegas one time, and it was only because I won a trip. It was super fucking cool. It was awesome. And on the scale from not a drop to the Hangover movie, it was like an 8 or a 9. I literally lost a buddy. Long story. Lost a buddy at a strip club. Like, it was a whole fucking thing. It was a whole thing. Anyway, this story for a different time. I'm glad you had a fantastic LVO.
That's amazing. Okay, so after the LVO, you got a data slate.
Right.
As a world leader player.
Oh, no.
And we covered it in our last episode. What's the best armies in after the data slate? So we actually covered world leaders quite a bit.
Yeah.
But
I at the time,
you know what? We were coming in from a guy who's trying to learn world leaders, and two who we play against them, but we don't really play them. So what is your thoughts on the data slate? And you know what? How do you approach this after?
Yeah.
So I'll start by saying I will give the overall rating at the end.
Oh,
what do
keep us wanting?
Yeah,
world tantalize us. Absolutely, I'm titillated.
World eaters still do a lot of good things.
Hell yeah!
In that they are still fast. Their advanced charge is a little less reliable, but there's still ways to get it when you need it. Like you want it turn 1 most of the time if you get first turn.
Right.
So I think you still take the favorite of Khorne enhancement.
Interesting. Okay.
Because there are a lot of games where you don't get the double 6s.
Right.
Sorry,
go ahead. If you don't mind. So you would say you're using that reroll not necessarily to get Angron back, but say you flub your very first blessings roll, you'd use it right there and then.
Yeah. Now, before it was mainly to get Angron back, but now I think you play games. If you're bringing Angron, he may not be an auto include anymore.
Ooh, interesting. Hot take alert. Yeah, hot take alert, everybody.
Okay, you got to finish that sentence, and you got to go right back to that.
Yeah. So you may be saving that favorite of Khorne roll for the advance in charge. And that there's a lot of variables that depend on that. Like if your opponent has made a mistake in their deployment, and you're like, okay, I can move my 8 bound up 23 inches.
And you need to whack them right now.
Yeah.
Right. Gotcha.
That certainly, like if they make that mistake and you need the advance and charge and you roll that double 6, you're gonna use your reroll right there.
Of course. And for those who may not know, what do you need? What do you need to roll to get advance and charge? Do you know off the top of your head?
2 6s on 8 dice.
2 6s or any triple, or is it just 2 6s?
Just 2 6s.
But if you got a triple, then you could use it.
Actually, I got it right here, my friend.
Yeah.
Double 6s or triple 4-up.
Yeah,
You had it. You're right. So, yeah, not guaranteed. Definitely not guaranteed. No. It feels like world leaders get it a lot, which you do, but it's definitely not guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed. Right. And there are a lot of games you'll play that you just don't get it.
Right.
You're gonna end up getting like a feel no pain and +2 to move.
Sure. Right. Right. And you don't, realistically, you don't need it turn 5. You might not even need it turn 4. You really wanted those first 2 turns.
First 2 turns for sure.
So, right. So now that you're saying we still take Blessings of Khorne. We put it on, who do we put it on now?
I've always been an advocate of putting it on the cheapest character possible.
Right.
Why is that?
Just have more space for build flexibility.
But the Mo went up in points. So who is our cheapest character now? Do you know?
I think it's still the Mo.
Well, obviously we can't give it to Khorne.
So there is a universe where you don't take that enhancement at all, and you just lean out of Angron.
Wow.
Yeah.
How dare you? First of all, how dare you? Second of all, please explain.
Well, Angron's just less reliable now, so there's going to be games where he dies turn 2, and you just don't get him back because you're just statistically not as likely to get him back for the rest of the game.
So you think if you can't reliably get Angron back, he might not be worth taking at all?
Correct.
Wow.
Now, there's other ways you can, get Angron back.
Sure.
Bring some Lord of Skulls.
Some Lord of Skulls?
Some Lord of Skulls.
Some.
Whoa, dude, come on. What's going on?
Whoa.
You might not be...
A Lord of Skulls is what you meant to say, right?
Some. Up to 1 or some.
Got it. Listening.
I think it's cool. It may not be the most competitive, and you may not win a GT. I'm not saying you can't win a GT. I want to see it. You certainly can win a GT if you get the right win path.
Yeah.
But just the big dick energy you bring when you bring Angron and 2 Lord of Skulls.
No way. That's insane. A Lord of Skulls, for those who don't know, is 400. It went down in points, mind you, at the data slate. It went down 15, 20, something like that. It's still sitting at
pretty minor,
450.
Yeah, it's still...
So 2 is 900 points. Angron himself is 4-ish. What's he at? He's 415.
Yep.
Quick math says 1315 for those 3 models.
Yep.
Okay.
And then what? A bunch
and
of
then just what? No, I would just go Jackals.
Yeah,
pretty much around
just as many cheap bodies as cheap units as you can. So hear me out.
Yeah, okay, I'm listening.
Okay.
I don't know if I like what you're saying, but I'm listening at least.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
It's wind path dependent.
Right.
It's the most wind path dependent list in the world.
Listening.
But you get Angron. You fucking eat him up. He kills 1 or 2 things. He dies. Okay. You bring your 2 Lord of Skulls out. They kill 2 things. That's Angron back. Statistically, that's a very easy Angron back.
Because if people don't know, the Lord of Skulls can manipulate your Blessings of Khorne roll.
Yeah. So for each unit they kill, they can modify a dice by 1.
Up or down.
Up or down.
Yeah. Up or down. Literally both. Yep. So you rolled 2 5s. All of a sudden, you rolled 2 6s and a 5. Right. All of a sudden, that's 3 6s. Yeah, Angron's coming back.
You might want to double check here.
I'm here to double check.
If they kill 2 units, I believe you can modify 2 dice by 2 or 2 dice.
I think it's 2 dice. I'll read it real quick here. It only counts the previous battle round, so a little limited there.
Yeah.
It says, I'll just read it out. For each time you make a Blessings of Khorne roll, for each enemy unit destroyed by this model in the previous battle round, you can add 1 or subtract 1 from one of the dice rolled. So you're modifying different dice by 1.
And that probably would stack with 2.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, no, it would.
So are you saying you would affect the same dice from two different guys?
So if you roll
Jeez, who
4,
knows?
you can
This is
bump
like
it up to
Inception.
a 6.
It's like an Inception
yeah,
situation.
no, you could. Yeah, your 4 turns into a 6.
I don't see why you couldn't, because this is not like an aura
Can
ability.
you read that out
This
just
time.
one more time
Sure. Yeah.
for our viewers?
Each time you make a Blessings of Khorne roll, for each enemy unit destroyed by this model in the previous battle round, you can add 1 or subtract 1 from one of the dice rolled.
Oh, only one of the dice rolls.
Hold on, there is a small caveat. Maybe I skipped this over before. It does have little parentheses. Each dice can only be modified in this way once, and a dice cannot be modified below 1 or above 6.
Hmm.
Now,
So you
with that
can't do that.
caveat, because that caveat
It's only
is
one dice, one
affecting
time.
that one model, though. Then you have your new result. Can you then a different model now modify that?
That
don't know.
requires further research.
It does require. I also, the fact that if you're taking 2 Lord of Skulls, you're a maniac. So
You're a big dick maniac.
I mean, you do have a
Well, you're just
pretty-
gonna learn. You're gonna lose to MSU
You're gonna
Dark
spend-
Lances. That's it. It's your worst matchup.
100%.
Is it T12 or 13 there?
I believe it's 13.
I think it's
I
13.
believe it's
13?
T13, 5 up in
Yeah,
bone
yeah.
save.
Dark
Dark
that's
Lance is
13.
wounding on 5s?
It's true. Dark Lances are wounding on 5s.
You get a 6 up, feel no pain. You're right. 2 is kind of ridiculous.
Thank you. Welcome back to Earth. Welcome back. Like, listen, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying it's wild.
We're gonna do it one day.
Listen,
need to-
listen. If
Hey,
you got a
next
couple,
GT,
if you have a
let's
couple
just,
Lord of Skulls kicking around, just like 2 sitting at home, you go ahead, and let me know,
Yeah.
and I'll gladly play
anyone
them.
have-
Oh, we can
Two
get
at
you a
home.
load of skulls. We can do it.
Okay.
I don't know. I
Do
don't
it
know.
at the
It's not
next
gonna be me, but-
RTT. I'll do it.
Next RTT seems good. All right.
Next RTT.
All right. So then, well, you know your next RTT list. Now, what would you? Now, don't give all your tricks. I think you have we actually have a fucking busy
We got
tournament season
do.
coming up.
Yeah.
Just the next couple months, like, you know, not even just we have that 2v2 buddy tournament or whatever this month, and then we have the Rumble in the Rockies, and then we got in April we have the Fools Aaron one, and then we have
There's a big teams one in Edmonton. There is
the teams one is at the end of May, and then there's the
right.
Alberta Classic that Overston
That's
puts
right.
on every year, which is probably the biggest one in Calgary.
That's huge.
Every year.
That's 6 games,
Yeah.
I think, actually, too.
It's 6 rounds.
It's a big game.
Yeah. So we got a few coming up in the next few months. So just for our viewers, and I know you're, some of you are Calgary. Actually, we have a lot of United States viewers too. But don't reveal everything, but tell us what you think you would do.
Right. I don't. Yeah. Unless you have any other data slate thoughts, like because we really only hit Blessings of Khorne, then went down the Lord of Skulls rabbit hole. Any other quick thoughts on the data slate changes itself? Points changes. The Master of Executions, obviously the Berserker Glaive hit him pretty hard. Do you still take him? Leave him at home? What do you think?
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't know if you take him,
'Kay.
but you know the Demon Prince with wings.
Ooh, with the
swinging
Berserker's
at-
Glaive?
Yes, damage 4 and damage 2 on the sweep.
He gives like invult too, right? Like he gives out an aura of invult.
No, not the wing.
he
Not the
doesn't.
wing one.
He gets oath on one target.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
You know, I kind of like him.
Yeah.
I don't think he's great, but he's an option.
Yeah, for sure.
There aren't a lot of great options.
If you're, and to more to Cass's point, going into the future lists, if you're making a World Eaters list for a competitive tournament tomorrow, are you bringing a Mo, and does he have the Berserker's Glaive?
no,
You're not bringing him?
no,
Period.
I'm not bringing him.
Wow, spicy.
If I had the models,
Yeah.
and the money,
Yes.
and the time,
Two Lord of Skulls. We heard you. Yeah.
I'm taking as many 8-bound as I can,
Sure,
and I'm probably leaving Angron out.
Oh wow.
Bringing Khorne still, because Khorne is an answer to the big bricks of, less than T6 infantry.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yep.
He's great at killing
Rips him up.
a lot of low toughness,
Well,
high model
And
kill.
with the potential of Drakari kind of coming up too, with a new detachment and having probably a little bit more infantry. Say there's a Necron infantry, which is just race, which infantry keyword, and then custodies as well. Having that, now I know they're not a low toughness for custodies, but at least having an answer to them is probably pretty important.
You're not going to like the answer to this, but you just try and score as many points as you can against custodies.
Sure.
Yeah, that's. I don't see a universe where you're gonna win against custodies as world eaters.
That was going to be. I was actually
Okay, fair enough. Okay,
very
no,
specific question. I was going to ask you
Yeah.
how you approach the Custodes matchup, because we're going to see a lot of
I think the
Custodes.
way I was talking is more of a general where the meta is going to go
Right,
and
right.
having a lot more Custodes players around.
For sure.
But yeah, that makes sense as a world leader player. Like, how are you going to beat a Custodes player?
You're gonna hope to dodge them, and if you are really unlucky and you do get matched against a Custodes player, what you have to do is you have to bait them off an objective.
Right.
And hope they fail a charge so they stay off an objective.
Jesus,
Because
sounds
you
like
do
the
not want to
worst.
go into a fight first.
Yeah.
And then you also need an
Rerolling
answer.
wounds and everything. Yeah, because the reroll wound rolls are one, but if they're not objective and it's theirs,
It's wild. Trust me, it's nuts.
Yeah.
they killed your Catan.
Oh, they kill all kinds
His
of stuff.
5 fucking Catan list.
Oh no.
Yeah, we talked about this last.
You want to learn skulls
last
thing?
podcast. Yeah, I did take that five Catan list into Jake's Custodes, and he won that game pretty handily. I may have flubbed it a bit. I was kind of goofing around and whatever, but yeah, the Custodes matchup I think is one that if you take world leaders to a tournament, you're gonna have a good chance to run into it, because I think Custodes are gonna be a top 5 army probably in the very near future,
Especially if you're winning.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
if you're X and 1 or X and O,
Yeah.
You're gonna hit Custodes.
So
Probably.
bait them off of points, bait them off of objectives. Hope they fail their charges. Punish them if you can.
And you need
That
to
sounds
put,
like an awful plan, but it's probably the best
it's
plan.
not
we
a good
have.
plan.
Yeah.
And you need to put Khorne or Angron into it. You don't want to be putting 8-bound into really anything, because they're going to pop their -1 damage strat
100%.
unless you have baited them off 2 CP.
Yeah,
Or they
right.
don't have their character that
It sounds like you're
Trajan.
suggesting. It sounds like you're suggesting a very
the
cagey world leaders game.
Yeah.
I'm not sure world
Or-
leaders can handle that.
Or you spread
situation.
out.
or you bring 2 Lord of Skulls.
and you say, "Fuck you."
Because
Deal with
that's
this.
actually great tech into Custodes.
It's
because
true.
How do they
kill-
deal with it?
They kill them with shooting.
Yeah.
Because
As best if they take the grav tanks, which they might. I don't know if they'll be taking.
Okay,
grav
but
tanks,
now you're talking about like, okay, well, I know you're going to do Lord of Skull, so clearly I'm going to go this way with a bunch of grav tanks. Like that's not what they're going to play in the meta.
I don't think Custodes are
Like,
taking.
if you went to a tournament, they're going to run a bunch of grav tanks. There's no way
No,
you're
I
going
don't
to face
think so.
against
there's a
that.
couple,
think
and
so.
I don't think 2 grav tanks kills a Lord of Skulls, at least in 1 turn of shooting.
Obviously, could just being a Knights player, I've seen it. It hurts.
sure.
Feels real bad. It's not consistent. You're right. It's not consistent. I don't think we're going to see a lot of grav tanks, but can I get your opinion on a list real quick?
Yeah, you bet.
This is
Ooh,
a
this is nice.
post-dataslate list from Art of War. I wish I could remember the guy's name. Do you guys
Nick
watch Art of War?
Navratil?
Yep.
Who's
I think
this?
it's
Who's
Nick.
this? Who's this
isn't
guy?
it?
Okay.
That's John Lennon.
That's John Lennon. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, that's John Lennon.
So we got Angron, Lord Invocatus, Khorne, 10 Jackals, 10 Berserkers, a Rhino for the 10 Berserkers and Khorne.
Yep.
Got 2 units of 3 regular 8-bound, which are great. A unit of 6 Exalted, and 2 units of 3 Exalted, and 2 Chaos Spawn. I think this is the best World Leaders list you can make.
Love it.
Post-dataslate.
Love it. Yeah.
I
Because
can't see
you were
Chaos Spawn.
saying just
Nice.
go Chaos Spawn in World Leaders.
Cool.
Absolute
Yeah.
fucking tanks. They're so good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they'll do actions. They'll hang out on your backfield while Jackals move up and
Yep.
sticky others late game.
Right.
This is the best list you can probably make.
There you go. It's almost like Mr. John Lennon knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Well, he's won I think he's won an LVO before.
Yeah. You want lots of 8-bound?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because regular 8-bound are fucking nuts. They
Yeah.
just will sit behind a wall and give that reroll wounds aura
Right.
to your Exalted while they
Right.
actually do the work. And
Right,
then they'll
right.
come in as the second wave and,
Oh yeah.
you know,
they kind
they're
of clean up.
still really good in combat.
Right. So Lord Invocatus still giving them scout. Yeah, that's strong. Like tons, just basically spam 8-bound.
Spam 8-bound.
Spam 8-bound. Berserkers are out.
Not wasting points on like extra characters that aren't doing
Right.
much.
Right.
And enhancements that, aren't as good anymore.
Which will actually probably help your secondary game, or at least against an opponent, right? Because you're
You
not
have more
feeding them
units.
assassinate, right? And they have to. Well, you have more units, so now it's even harder for them to score secondary game when they have to go engage in all fronts or get behind enemy lines, or deploy teleport homers. You're right in their face.
Yeah.
And you have a lot more units, a lot more assets to kind of control where you're going to be.
Yeah. It looks a little bit more MSU, which I like a lot more than running fewer big units.
Yep.
I agree.
I think it's smart.
And what one of our teammates there in our chat today was saying that Adversaries is right up there at the top.
Mm-hmm.
They are like one of the most perfect MSU armies out there, right?
Sure.
You run a bunch of Crusaders, you run even Sisters in an emulator tank, and they can separate right after that when they deploy out of an emulator tank. So they can just kind of control the field and just spread right out. Sure, and whenever one dies, they get a miracle dice.
Yeah.
So now they're controlling the dice rolls even more frequently. So having this typical MSU army where you're trying to get in their face or trying to deploy teleport homers or try to get behind enemy lines, you can't. Because they're always going to stop your movement. And sure, you kill one thing, and then they're just going to kill it for...
Yeah, they don't care.
Well, they're screening you, right? So, you kill Crusader unit, that's fine. They get a Miracle Dice, and then I just go Paragon Warsuit and kill the thing that killed everything.
Yeah.
Right?
You're big on the
And
sisters.
that's it.
You're feeling the sisters, hey?
Yeah, I love Sisters.
Because you have a whole ass sisters collection, right?
Yeah.
Like you're ready to go.
Yeah.
You're gonna play sisters in the next tournament you play?
Rumble the Rockies, I'm doing Death Guard, and then the Buddy tournament, I'm doing Sisters.
Ooh.
Okay. 1,000 points. Jesus. Hit puberty right there. 1,000 points of sisters, hey?
Yeah, so I'm going to do 1,000 points of Sisters. My whole style is, because it's that 2v2 style, it's a little weird, but it's all about... what my opponent or what my partner's going to be doing. So I just kind of made a list that would, again, be MSU and just be scoring points. I don't really care about killing anything. Are you in the tournament?
The Buddy 11 doubles thing that's coming up.
I don't think I signed up for that. When is it?
Next Sunday?
Like I was going to say, very soon.
Yeah.
Anyways, I still have an anvil, or sorry, a hammer. It is definitely Morven Vol and Paragon Warsuits, which will probably be coming from reserves most of the time, depending on what I want to do. I'm doing something kind of unique though. I originally was a 10-man blob of Zephyrims with Celestine and kind of just mowing things and just doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
I've now recently, discovered the essence of MSU, and I went to 2 5-mans of Zephyrims and then actually Celestine by herself.
Oh,
so she's a fucking take.
Yeah, sure.
Like she can take anything, and sure, I'll assign all the wounds to the one Gemini. It dies, or I'll assign a lot of damage to Celestine and just do a 4-up Feel No Pain. Right, especially if you have a Gemini around. So you take it on the first Gemini, and you still have another Gemini, and then you start taking on Celestine, and she comes back on 2s.
Wild.
Right, and then she's just a bully. And I can come in on a small, so it's very hard to screen her. So I can really kind of come in the back. And then if you don't do anything to her, then I move 12 inches and advance charge her, advance onto an objective.
How many points is she?
She is
130.
Yeah, I just pulled it up.
That's a steal.
135.
135.
Yeah.
And then Morven Vol is 130.
And how many wounds is Celestine with her
6.
Gemini?
I just had
6, and then there's 2 on each Gemini.
So you get 10 wounds, 20 wounds
Celestine's
effectively.
5 wounds.
Oh, sorry. 5. Oh, she was 6 and 9.
5?
Yeah. So 9 wounds.
You get effectively like 14 wounds for 135 points. That's not too bad.
Yeah, and she flies, and she has a flamer.
Yeah,
and she comes back. 4-up Invol, 4-up Feel No Pain, depending on what you do.
Yeah,
and she's great. So I could put her in a unit, but I don't think that's the best way for her. I'd rather her just be a bully, and then score points. And then have my Zephyrim kind of come back. They reroll charges, and with charges now with Miracle Dice it's a little less good than 9th.
Right.
But okay, fine. Use one of your 6s, and then have that as a reroll. Like, okay, so I need to reroll my charge. Okay, I missed it. Reroll. Okay, I'll place one with a 6, and then I'll roll, and then hopefully get my
That's
my
smart.
2.
That's
so
very cool. 1,000 points, hoping that
1,000 points, and then I still have a Cascadator tank.
Right.
So I'm going to be a little. They went up in points to 180, but having a strength 10 AP -2 D6 damage. Indirect fire and with heavy is good.
Yeah, of course.
It's just good.
So
it's just
never always.
It's a nuts thing.
I compare it to a Riptide, and it's like, I could take 165 point Riptide that it just gives me a tummy ache, just thinking about it.
Gives me a tummy ache.
Whenever there's a 180 point model, that's like, I just compare it to a Riptide that's 165.
Your scale is worse or better than a Riptide. That's like right in the middle there.
And it's always worse.
It's always worse. That's fair.
Well,
that's fair.
So it went up, and I was okay, fine. I'll try to change my list. But then it equaled up to exactly 1,000. I'm like, okay, how do I find this? Okay, I can go Cascadator tanks. I do need a tank.
Yeah.
Right.
I can go Cascadator tanks, which they get +1 on infantry depending on the way I build it out. Okay, I could do that. But then I'm at this weird, how do I find 50 points kind of thing, and it just didn't really fit anything. I could do Dialogus, but they're at 55 points, so it's like, okay, how do I fit this thing in and make sense?
Right.
So I went with the Exorcist tank, and I can at least hold in my backfield. And again, I'm here for support. I'm not really.
Yeah, I was gonna say
my role in the 1v or the 2v2 is not winning, or not being the dominant one. I'm more the one scoring all the points and then letting us win later.
You would love to get paired into like a partner of Custodes or something like that. You would love that. That'd be like
awesome,
premium.
But even GW terrain, you can poke that little tank turret out from that corner and still hold your home objective.
Love it.
Oh yeah, true enough. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And also I didn't mention two sister squads. Just two. Yeah. They each have multi-melta melta.
Right.
And then I have 2 Crusaders squads as well, so they're going to be my fodder. Just go up there.
That's strong.
You know they're 25 fucking points for 2 models with a 4-up invul.
I want that. I want that so bad.
That is.
Wait, what unit is this?
They're called Crusaders.
I'm gonna look this up right now.
And they have power swords.
Crusaders. There they are. I know little to nothing about sisters.
Okay, the 25 points, you get 2 of them.
25 points for 2 models. Is insane. 3 up, 4 up.
Yeah, I tested a similar list against
like the best action monkeys.
What is going on?
They have to be. Yeah,
that's wild.
They have to be. I tested this list against Curly, and he did. Okay, first of all, his list is never going to be an MSU list ever. Like he's
Chaos Knights,
Chaos Demons.
Chaos Demons.
Yeah, they're just going to charge you, and they're going to be stuck wherever they're stuck, and it's going to be game over. Now I rolled fucking hot, and I had a Crusader just block all of Bellicor. So he was attacking. I saved most of them. I saved 1 dice from a miracle. I'm like, oh well, I guess my last one's going to save, and my 2 wounds Crusaders survived an entire Bellicor attack. So that means he's stuck there.
That's the
and
nature.
Then I fall back, and then my Paragon Warsuits with Morvenn Vault, which is 4 rerolls a hit and wounds, multi-meltas and Stormbolters, is just dead.
Yeah, that's the nature of the 4-up invul. You could do that. On any given day, you could just do that.
So bad.
Poor Bellicor. It's the best they have, but it is not. It's not
the best of the worst.
Teams look pretty good right now.
You think?
Why
so?
Is that?
Yeah. I think that's a hot take. Hot take alert.
The stacking Redmaster. Oh my god.
Oh, okay. Which was technically a thing, and I had seen it, but was like confirmed that this does work this way.
You got.
Have you heard of this, Cass?
I haven't actually.
Why don't you run through it real quick for our viewers and dumb old Cass over here?
Yeah. So Redmasters have a buff that increases their, I believe it's attack, strength, and damage. And they select a unit and it stacks. Let me just confirm this because
I got it here if you want.
I'm not a demons player.
Chaos Demons. We're looking at it's called the Rendmaster, and so if I remember correctly, maybe we're all dumb. We don't even actually know what we're talking about.
Yeah, at the start of the fight phase, select 1 enemy unit with an 18 invisible to this model.
There you go.
Until the end of the phase, each time a friendly Khorne Legion's Demonica unit makes an attack that targets that unit, improve the strength, AP, and damage of that by 1. And that stacks.
Right, and because this is not an aura, this is a point at a unit and do this, you can stack it. So you could give your bloodletters, whoever, like +2, like +3 is getting a little bit crazy maybe, but +2.
Yeah. Suddenly you get flesh hounds that are just eating Terminators.
Smashing them up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Huh. Now, it's a lot of setup, and the Rendmaster is not cheap for demons. 150 for a Rendmaster.
He's fairly squishy. Like, if he gets shot at by a dedicated shooting unit, he could die. He's 9 wounds.
Oh, for sure.
Do you think he starts in reserves then?
No. He has to start...
Right? Because you pop him out...
It's 18 inches, though.
Yeah, it's tough.
So if you're going for the center, like, he's not going to have line of sight, and he might not have range.
Right.
That's tough.
So I think he starts on the board.
Yeah, you just hide him.
You just hide him and pop him out, right? And then when you're ready to do your big strike, you pop him out.
I guess unless you deep strike all your other bloodletters or something, and then you kind of come in reserve on the one side, and then you put your 2 bloodletters right in front, and you got the one. Well, Shadow of Chaos gets you in 6 inches.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
So if you can somehow take that,
you're right. They have deep strike with 3-inch deep strike also. So maybe you do 1.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I guess hey, for our viewers, then any demon players. Put your thoughts
I would love to do a faction focus on Chaos Demons because that's it's very cool looking army. Mechanics are weird, rules are weird, but just don't really. They're not coming together right now. They're not popping off on win rate. They're hurting.
I don't know. When you look at any kind of Goonhammer like innovations, those articles are awesome. Demons always kind of pop up.
Do you think so?
Well, each tournament they're usually just in the top 10.
There's lots of builds for demons. You know, you can take 3 Lord of Changes, and there's a big shooting base right there. And
I love those kind of lists.
Yeah,
those are scary.
Yeah,
yeah.
They are concerning. And then you got the 3 great and clean ones.
Right.
And they have the stacking. I believe it's a -1 toughness buff.
Yeah, and which stacks on with contagions if you add them, if you ally them into Death Guard.
And they're dirt cheap too. I think they're 230.
They're
but you don't want to do that. You could do that in 9th with Chaos Knights. I think it was a Gift of Nurgle that you could have done with Chaos Knights, and you could have made it a -2 toughness. But fucking who cares?
Right.
Like, hey, it could change a roll from 3 to 2, but most time you're changing it. You're not changing it much. And now in a high toughness world,
I was gonna say the stuff you want to put it into, it doesn't make a difference.
Well,
right?
that's why Death Guard was so bad at the beginning of 10th edition, because the toughness was so high and the -1 just didn't matter. It was so minute.
Right.
That's why you needed to have the extra contagion ability.
Right. Understood.
It's such a nice profile though. He's T12.
Yeah.
And he has a 5-up save and a 4-up inmal, so he has a 4-up save.
Yeah.
He has 20 wounds.
And feel no pains.
20 wounds and feel no pains.
Yeah, he's a fucking beast.
What's the feel no pain?
Does he have feel no pains?
I swear he did. Maybe I'm crazy.
No,
he does.
No.
He has
I'm
a
not
6-up
crazy.
feel no pain. It's
Where?
a
Oh, is it
built-in
only a
data
6-up?
sheet ability, and I think he gets an enhancement too.
Maybe that's what it was.
But the thing is, he's 230.
Right. Yeah, that's a big beefy boy.
What's his base size now, though?
He's big.
Because
I don't think it's
the
that
old ones
big,
were like, the old ones were like this. Tony actually has an old pewter model of it. It's like this big.
I guarantee.
Yeah,
that's like the old Avatar of Cain. Is like the little double foot bases. It's like literally like a
exactly
2-inch model.
Yeah,
3 inches maybe.
Yeah.
Tops.
Well, that's
on a good day.
It's pretty unique. Okay.
Right. We went on a big tangent.
Yeah, we did.
I want to bring you back to back to World Eaters real quick.
Yeah.
We discussed a little bit of Custodes, that matchup specifically. Where do you see World Eaters in the meta, let's say in the next month to 2 months?
I think World Eaters are a solid B tier army. Okay. We have seen 1 GT win from World Eaters since the data slate.
Right, yes.
And I don't know the win path he took. I'm assuming it was somewhat very favorable assumption. I assume he's a great player.
So it was actually a very big tournament. I'm going to pull it up in a second here because I can pull up the list. It did feature a Lord of Skulls.
Ooh.
You'll be happy to know.
Here it is. Was it 2?
No, it wasn't 2.
No, it wasn't 2.
Listen, calm down. No one's suggesting that except for you right now. It was Jack Harpster at the Grand Onslaught 7. List was Angron, Invocatus, Jackals, of course. We got 8-bound. Let's see, 1 squad of 8-bound, 3 squads of Exalted, Lord of Skulls, and 2 squads of Spawn. So Angron and a Lord of Skulls. Basically.
Were they all 3-mans or 6-mans?
Let's see what we got here. The 8-bound, there was 1 squad of 3 8-bound, 1 squad of 6 Exalted, and 2 squads of 3 Exalted.
Yeah.
So yeah, going towards that MSU-ish. You can only be so MSU if you're doing Angron and Lord of Skulls, obviously. But that, yeah, he took first place there with a. Does it tell me the record? It doesn't. He just takes first place. I'm not sure what the record was.
That's a good list. I think that's other than the one Art of War showcase. I think that's another alternative to.
Well,
World
it's
Eaters
nice.
for
It's
sure.
nice to see that. Obviously,
Are you just saying that because it's Lord of Skulls?
No, obviously it's a good list.
Because it came first
I'm pretty
place.
sure
But
that's a very prestigious.
But also,
good
I
tournament.
would lean towards that one. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
It's good to see it because I think a lot of World Eaters players were just like done after seeing the data slate nerfs. They're like, because we talked about it in the last episode, between Eldari, CSM took the big hits, obviously. Mm-hmm. The next army that took the biggest hit for sure is World Eaters. And a lot of people, I think, probably jump shipped on World Eaters. Not that they were S tier necessarily, but they were like
were A tier,
mid A
for
tier,
sure.
right? They were up in the mix of it,
mid high,
right? Because they're like the gamble army. It's like if you make your advance and charge on turn 1, hey, you're gonna smash whoever you play.
But I would also
right?
disagree with that. Any good player could probably pilot it to a positive win record no matter what.
And full disclosure, I'm not a great player. Like
Whoa! Hey, hold on.
No.
Hold on. We
Bullshit.
only have good players on this podcast.
Okay, then I'm the best player. But anybody can play World Eaters.
Much better.
And if the dice are good, there's a lot of variables that go into piloting World Eaters, and that if somebody fails their leadership check to fall back from your exalted, you're in a good spot. If you bring anger on back again, or even 2 times, you're in a great spot.
So it's just you pray to RNGesus and hope for the best.
A little bit, yeah.
Right, sure.
It is, and that coupled with it is a hard army to play. You need to have your movement phase down to a T to do really well with it. If you don't, if somebody clips line of sight on your 8-bound behind a ruin,
right, you didn't you didn't see the line, but they found the line.
You're losing a couple bases at least, right? It's not a good time. You need to have your movement phase down pat, and if you don't, then you're not winning a GT.
So you think World Eaters fall to a solid B tier?
Yeah, probably.
I would love to pull up a good tier list, but I don't know what else do you think is in B tier right now?
Oh gosh.
Just to compare, what's the power level you think is sitting there with the World Eaters in your mind? Is that your Chaos Demons? Do you think they're above Chaos Demons, for example?
I would say they are.
Yeah, I'd say they're on par or maybe slightly above, just because they have nice profiles into demons.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah. Got you.
I also think their overall play style is a little easier to grasp than demons, because I think the way you have to build a demon list is it's actually it's quite complicated just to build a demon list.
Yes, right.
That I think that even comparing them to a B, or you're gonna find a lot more losing lists
for sure
in a demon than in a World Eater.
Absolutely,
and also there's more selection.
Oh yeah, a deeper list, and that's one thing.
Well, deeper codex,
deeper index.
Right.
Index. We're an index hammer for most of our armies,
yes,
right?
Yes.
That was one thing we did mention in the last podcast was the nerfs that World Eaters got or felt more because the index is relatively shallow.
It'd be the same percentage of Eldari,
right?
But
yeah, I think with a little bit of time that we've seen some tournaments and some results, Eldari got hit super hard. CSM probably a little bit even harder, just by win rates and how we're seeing things fold out. But yeah, because World Eaters don't have this deep index to pull from, there's only really, honestly, 10 to 12 data.
Well, the data slate just attacked the best units.
Yeah,
and which is
literally the best ones, right?
80% of their army,
the best enhancements, the best units.
Well, I shouldn't say the best ones, but the good ones, because the other ones really aren't that good.
Right?
Berserkers at strength 6 -1/1 damage.
Nah, whatever.
5 attacks, even it
doesn't
care. Do much.
The Forge Fiend got cheaper. Who cares? Great, awesome, sweet.
It's 125 points versus the Chaos
hold
one
that
that's
back line,
200.
Hold that back line.
I don't know. There's a universe where I could see running 3, but at the same time, no.
Me.
They don't have anything other than their weapon profiles.
No,
but
that's
for 125 points,
and you're not taking predators. You're not taking so many things in the World Eaters list. It's just not happening. So as soon as they get hit with their best stuff, so 8-bound got nerfed. They took a 20 point hike on their 6-man unit. And you're sitting here saying, and Art of War agrees, just spam Exalted 8-bound. Yeah. Right? Because they're that strong. Yeah. It is what it is. I mean, I don't think I agree that they're B tier. I think they're probably sitting somewhere for me in that A tier level. I think they're hacking it with the new Drukhari and stuff like that. I think they're probably in that area.
I think we still got to see Drukhari perform.
That's true.
I do think there's a universe where they are that good.
Yeah. And I just say that I'm definitely biased in that, maybe I'm a little salty because I didn't win the LVO.
The salt is real.
So I'm
if you had one LVO, we'd be talking a different story.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
And I think I'm more of a reactive player, and World Eaters definitely are more of a aggressive army, and they force your opponent to be reactive, right?
100%,
so,
of course.
That's just generally my playstyle. I love World Eaters.
Yeah.
But my personal play style is playing a reactive game.
Fair enough. But so you play the opposite army for some reason, just for funsies.
Well, it's a movement phase army, but yes, it's complete
when you
opposite.
Want to just turn your brain off.
Why would you want to try to be the best player? You got to play every single kind. Well, not every faction, but every single play style.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the only way you can be best, because Now you're gonna go. Okay, so now he's an avid World Leaders player, and now he's picks up his Grey Knights, and he goes against a World Leaders army.
Right.
Who do you think is gonna win?
Right. Well, that's a good point. Yeah. I mean,
Probably the World Leaders players.
Yeah, that's actually a good question, because that's a weird matchup. Is World Eaters into Grey Knights? What do you think that matchup? Who's favored in that one now?
That game is the Grey Knights players' game to win. In that, if you have a shitty deployment and you overextend, you lose the game.
Right.
Because you have you have about 9 units max. Like most Grey Knight units or lists will have 7 to 8 units.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you lose 2 of those turn 1 or 3 of those turn 1, you're rat fucked. You rat fucked yourself. Excuse me.
Rat.
Excuse
It's
my
okay. We're well into the thing. I think
We're
YouTube
good.
doesn't care if we swear anymore. So
All right, so we are at an hour now, so I kind of want to start getting to that point. But how do we? Grey Knights did get a buff, and it was with the 2 weapon skill when it comes to the Grand Nemesis Knight and on hitting with the sword, and then they also their side cannon ignores cover and has a +1 weapon skill.
+1 AP.
+1 AP. Sorry, +1 AP. So, what benefit was that to Grey Knights as a whole? Because it was a buff. I really like it. Now, what would you do?
Yeah, so Grey Knights before were more of a melee army where you ran big bricks of Terminators.
Yeah.
So that buff to Dread Knights sort of lets you run more of a shooting focused list, which is something you want. So going from World Eaters to Grey Knights is like, okay, I get a shooting phase now.
Right.
And running Grey Knights, suddenly the shooting phase is actually not terrible. It's not great, but the fact that you get to pick up your units and cut angles and, shoot stuff that and kill stuff and then not be able to shot back just due to the GW terrain lets you really play a different game. So I run more of an MSU style list in that I can bring a Dread Knight for 185 points. I don't need to bring a Librarian and a unit of Terminators, which costs, like 320, 30 points.
Yeah.
Without an enhancement.
Right.
So I can take almost 2 Dread Knights for that.
Would you go up to 3?
Oh,
wait. We're talking to the guy who does double load of skulls.
That's exactly right. This man is...
It's tournament season coming up.
This man is not well, okay?
Yeah.
He'll take whatever.
I'm running 4 Dread Knights right now.
Ooh, 4 Dread Knights.
Spicy.
I like that.
And I
like that.
Yeah, it's good because I don't have to play melee army anymore.
Right.
Because melee has historically in 10th not been successful due to all the caveats they put into melee and polins and consolidations and everything of that nature, and just how strong shooting armies have been.
Yeah.
I can play a shooting army that is hyper mobile, deep strike within 3. I can put 10 purifiers in a character
I was gonna say.
within 3 in your deployment zone and just pick up a bunch of T3 5-man squads. Like, the flexibility you have because you can run Dread Knights now suddenly means I was running 6 units before. I can run 9 or 10, which doesn't seem like a lot, but from a unit or from an army that is supposed to be good at scoring secondaries, but still didn't score secondaries because you only took 6 units.
Right.
It is significant.
Now, can I make a... Sorry, I'll interrupt here, but can I make a point about coming to tournament season? I know, like, hey, don't reveal all your secrets and everything else, and I'm all for it.
Tell us how to beat you.
Now, no, please. The way I see it, as well as that they still have to fucking beat you.
Yeah, of course.
They still have to do it. So, like, tell us a little bit about it, but don't obviously reveal your gotchas or anything like that, but they still have to beat you. I remember when I was, again, being an avid Magic player, I would listen to the pros and they would write articles about the deck list they were going to run, and they would still run that deck list in that particular tournament and still win because you still have to fucking beat them.
Absolutely.
You still have to do it.
Yeah,
I will tell you all my secrets right here, and it won't make a difference because on the table it's completely different. Like, you want to end a move within 9 inches of me? Well, that unit's not going to be there anymore.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Go through the index, read Grey Knights because there is quite a bit of jank in there.
Doing it right now.
In that read the Mist of Demos stratagem. because
it's amazing. Stratagem.
there's a 2 CP combo.
You know
in
about the
game.
Mr. Vemos stratagem.
Of course.
Yeah, you
for
got
those,
almost.
for those who don't know,
You actually only won a game at like 1 point
against
because
your
of
brother,
it. Yeah, against my brother. Great night player,
we took like 10 minutes to like math out. Wait, should I trigger Mr. Demos here? Should I not? Should I move closer? Should I not? We did that for like 10 minutes, and then I
And a great
made the wrong
opponent
choice, I
will
think, at some
bait
point.
that miss out, but the best 2 CP you can spend in the entire game of 40k
Listening.
is you miss something. You take it off the table.
Yeah.
At the end of your opponent's movement phase, you rapid ingress that unit back in.
Ooh.
And
Right. In the,
Holy
at the end of that same movement. phase.
So basically, you
Yeah.
pick up a unit and you put it anywhere else on the table 9 inches away.
Right.
Suddenly, you have 9 paladins in your backline that in the following turn are going to need a 5-inch charge to
Right.
get into something.
Hey, can I ask you then? Are you gonna run the what's that unit called with the incinerators and the guy can make it rerolls?
The purifiers, right?
Purifiers?
Yeah.
Yeah. The purifier. Are you doing the combo?
I am. Just because Granite says, as I said,
It's
become
10.
more of a
You
shooting
do
unit.
10 though, right?
Yeah, 10 with the incinerators. It's more of a shooting army now. You don't really want to be, making 7-inch charges. Fuck that. Because I don't like Drago, who gives you the 6-inch out of deep
It's
strike.
6-inch, right? Because you get a 6-inch charge, right? Because he goes 3 inches in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because suddenly, if you even have to spend a CP reroll to make that 6-inch charge, which happens more often than not.
If you're having to reroll your 6-inch charges, you are in a bad spot. No matter what army you're playing, obviously.
And that happens sometimes,
Sure,
right?
it does. Of course, it does. And here, I have a quick question. Sorry, you finish your thought. And I'll ask you a question.
Yeah, I just don't like the investment from Drago and the Terminators.
It's just too much.
It's too much.
I was going to say, without those Terminators, without Drago, those Terminators, that like anvil, not the hammer, right? Without that anvil, what is sitting on objectives and scoring primary for Grey Knights?
You got lots of your strike squads and interceptors. Your Dread Knights are generally gonna be, you're gonna pick them up. And you're gonna put them on objectives, and they're gonna sit there and shoot at stuff.
What's the OC?
4, 3 or 4.
I was just looking that up. Actually,
I'm pretty sure it's 4. I want to say 4.
So the
I hope it's 4.
The Grandmaster is 4, and
Regular's 4 also.
is the Nemesis 4 as well. Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right.
Well, that's good.
That's
right?
a nice break point.
A plate versus crawler
4
is
is not
3.
nothing. So here's the other question. We've been kind of tossing this around a lot. Is Necrons are probably the big boogeyman of the next month, 2 months for sure. We're not
June.
Right. You think we won't see any change? I think we'll see changes before June.
I mean FAQ, but
Right.
I think we'll see it probably before the end of March.
Oh, geez.
for the
Generally-
end of March.
Yeah,
Wild.
they'll usually release like a Codex FAQ.
Right.
And if they're really oppressive, which lots of people,
Yeah, they
the
could be.
statistics show they're kind of oppressive.
They're up there, yeah.
They might bump them up 20 points,
we'll
You're
just deal with the
talking- you're
Catan,
talking about
or
the
just
Catan. You're saying
don't allow the Catan to deep strike within 3. That would probably be
that
fine.
was the rumor. That was the rumor before.
I think that's
they
fine.
can't use cosmic precision in the Hypercrypt Legion.
Yeah, you just give it a certain keyword for that.
But here's the
stratagem.
question: how does a Grey Knight army kill Catan
Surprisingly easily.
with purifiers?
No.
No?
With your big brick of paladins that ignores modifiers.
How do you ignore modifiers?
Right.
So the Grandmaster
Right.
has a built-in role in his data sheet which lets him ignore modifiers for himself and the unit.
I
So
forgot they
you're
had
gonna
that.
you're
You're
gonna
100%
have
right.
18 side cannon shots at strength 8 -1/2 damage, which of course are ignoring modifiers and hitting on 2s, by the way.
Yeah.
And that's gonna do a couple of wounds. I think on average it does about 3 wounds. But then you're gonna charge, and you're
Right.
gonna get 45 attacks at strength 6 -2/2 damage, hitting on 2s, and you might pop dev wounds on that with your free strat.
Right.
Right.
And that's ignoring modifiers.
I totally forgot they have the Grandmaster.
I believe that does.
Of course.
How much the points is the Grandmaster?
I got it right here.
100.
Grandmaster is 100 and not even 100. 95 points.
Yeah, with the enhancement,
And
it's
how many can you take?
125.
He's not named, is he?
No, he's not named. He's just
Oh wow.
Take 3 of them.
Okay, there you go.
You don't want to take more than one because he's too much an investment, but you also take the enhancement, the Sigil of Excellence, which when you shoot him, you just pick up the unit and put him
Just
9
pick
inches
him up and
away.
go away.
So he's getting a 5-inch charge next turn into whatever he really picks if you've left space for the unit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And just because we're kind of faction focused on World Eaters, how are World Eaters killing Catan?
Angron is still really good at killing Catan, especially if he has the regular 8-bound within 6 inches of him, because he's rerolling wound rolls of 1.
Rerolling to hit, rerolling wounds of 1.
And you can +1 to wound him for 1 CP. So he's hitting on 2s rerolling. Yep. And if you've done it right, he's also getting sustained hits.
Skulls for the Skull Throne.
Yep.
Right.
And then he's winning on 2s rerolling 1s. So suddenly you're putting about 9 wounds through on a Catan. He's making 4 or 5 of those.
Sure. Right.
That's a dead Catan.
Right.
Okay, but how do you beat 5 Catan?
Luckily, Catan, I find it probably takes 2 or 3 to kill Angron.
Catan. Well, aside from the Nightbringer, none of the Catan are killing Angron. That's not happening. Like, it's just,
and even in one turn of shooting and fighting, the Nightbringer shouldn't kill Angron.
Oh, I don't think he has a puncher's. Just because he has a dev wounds build in, like, you have a chance, but it's not on the average.
It's not guaranteed.
It's far from guaranteed.
How many wounds is Angron?
8 times 2.
16. Yeah.
16.
And
whoa!
If you've gone first and you've popped the stratagem,
blows my mind. I want to put that Iron Man logo in there.
Yeah. He should have a 6-up feel no pain also.
Yeah. All right. So
most of the time he does. Right. Most of the time.
Most of the time. Worst case scenario, if shit's really going bad and you have the CP, you'll also pop the -1 damage strat, but that doesn't come up too much.
Right.
Which, I mean, it would help into some stuff, but not like a Nightbringer versus Angron matchup, obviously. But
worst case scenario.
Worst case Ontario. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, we're coming up to an hour and 20 minutes now, as we do. We have a few things to edit out and stuff, but
what do you mean? Edit what? You don't edit the show, do you?
Yeah, no.
Don't lie to these viewers.
No. We're all real here.
Raw.
So coming into the next tournament season, what are you gonna run? Just to save the faction, you don't have the run list.
Great Eights, yeah.
It's it. Great Eights.
So you're jumping ship. You're like, World Eaters is a sinking ship. We're all dead. We're all screwed.
No,
I'm out of here.
No, I shouldn't say that. I like to. I'm a hobbyist too, so I like to make sure that my models are completed. Ooh. You're shaking your head.
No, because I'm the opposite of a hobbyist. That's why.
8-bound are a pain in the ass to paint, and if you want to run World Eaters, the more 8-bound the better. Not to say you can't run them without them, but they're a pain in the ass to paint. I don't want to buy more and paint more, and I have a great range for Grade 8, so I'm just gonna run Grade 8s.
We're the same way, and in the teams tournament there, I think, are you running Necrons? You are.
I'm not playing in the. If you're talking about the one coming up, the doubles, I'm not playing in it. The Buddy Loving one?
No, the team tournament.
Oh, the previous one here at CAX.
Nope, I'm talking about the team tournament in May.
Oh, all the way in May. All the way in May.
Yeah. You're running Necrons, aren't you?
I mean, we haven't nailed it down.
Oh, okay,
it's months and months away, but probably
because we're hobbyists too, and I am. For sure.
I'm a hobbyist.
Okay. All right. I only can speak for myself. I can't do anything else. But we don't have enough. Right. So I'm letting him. I have about 5,000 points in Necrons, and I just would just let it all.
Yep.
I got a monolith, motherfucker. I got the old ass monolith.
I have a new monolith. I'm not OG like that. Unfortunately.
Why we run two?
Two monoliths.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, I'm gonna paint mine. I actually just reprimed it, and I fucking painted that thing when I was 13. So it looks like shit. So what I did, I didn't get any paint remover. I just primed over it because it was so bad. And I'm gonna do a galaxy theme on it though. I'm just gonna go airbrush and purple blues, some stars.
Flick some stars on there.
Yeah. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm actually coming in tomorrow here at CAX Bar and podcast to do the painting day.
It's not tomorrow.
Pints. Sorry, tomorrow is Saturday.
Yeah,
I mean Sunday. It's been a long week, man. It's been a long week.
No, it's here on Sunday. They host us, and they're. Obviously they treat us good. They give us a free podcast room and everything else, and we're doing Paints and Pints on. Have you seen that event on Facebook?
Maybe I'll come. I got some painting to do.
Yeah, we all have hobby. Dude,
I got
the way we advertised it was. Turn your pile of shame into a pile of opportunity.
Oh, that's very. So I'm going into our next crusade. I think the beginning of March, and I'm playing my Necrons because it's the Pariah Nexus. It's the whole. It's all Necrons,
cool.
right?
That's really cool.
Problem is, my Necron collection is just a travesty of secondhand models. Some are painted, some aren't. Some are
Sprue-cron.
Dude, but I'm gonna do like a destroyer theme, like Scorpex, flayed ones, and all that. So I gotta like unify them all. I gotta make them all.
I just actually primed up the rest of my Dominus box just recently because I bought that thing.
A few Scorpex in there, I think. There's
years
3
ago.
or something.
I own quite a bit of Scorpex, and I got Destroyers, but I'm gonna be doing a different kind of theme. It's okay. My Necrons are gonna look like a Death Watch army. They're gonna be all fucking whatever they are, because it's like kind of my army that I test other things and evolve as a painter, and I'll do different themes. Like, oh, these guys are their Novax, these are Mephits, and whatever it is.
Sure.
It kind of happened, but also when I first kind of got back into 40k, actually my first army was always Necrons.
Love it.
And it was just fucking dry brushing.
Our first armies were Necrons.
Yeah, they were. You dry brush fucking metal and Newland oil, and you're good, right?
That's how you do it.
Yeah. So now I have all these models of Necrons, so I can just kind of learn how to do painting different styles and just evolve as a painter. So I want to use them as they're kind of my goats.
Tester army.
Yeah. But I still have them. So
yeah, I got my mission for this weekend is to get. I think I want to get a whole squad of Scorpex and their Lord painted up. I got to get some Lich Guard painted up because they are going to babysit an Overlord who is super
I've
good in
fully
Crusade
painted too. If you want to.
Oh, I got to paint my own.
Okay.
Well, I don't want. I'm leaning into Destroyer Cult, right? Destroyer Cult flayed ones, so I can only have so many Lich Guard. Yeah. I think Lich Guard are fucking dope though. So
cool,
even though like Wraiths kind of took their spot as like the premium take, but in Crusade you can do weird stuff, right?
Yeah, totally. All right, well, let's start wrapping this up, and hey, thanks for all you listeners. We have had a substantial amount of views.
We've been doing good
for 3 episodes. That's crazy. Like, it is kind of nuts. We're getting a lot of views in the United States and Canada, and we really appreciate you guys listening and taking the time to, we're taking the time just to actually just put it on in the background or whatever it is, and while you're painting. And I'm super appreciative. I hope you guys learned something from it. This is what we do. We all play very competitive Warhammer. We all love Warhammer to it's kind of our core. And hey Ben, take it away.
I just wanted to say, like, first off, thank you, Dave, for joining us. I really appreciate it. It's we're kind of fly by the seat of our pants during this podcast, but you were a pleasure to have on. Very insightful. It's good to have someone who, like, we talk shit and play each other all the time. You're kind of like, I've never played you. It's good to get like someone's insight from like outside of the immediate circle. You know what I mean? Like, you're in the same group chats. We're in the same circle of competitive Warhammer in Calgary. But thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm super happy to be here and give some of my crazy thoughts.
There were some hot takes. I tried to give a hot take alert when it was around the corner. Sometimes people might have got blindsided by your hot takes.
Don't be discouraged by Ben's apprehension to 2 Lord of Skulls. I think it's an auto include for any
auto include. Don't get out. We're done here. But thank you so much. No, I like Cass said, we've got good response so far to people listening, people subscribing, people liking. That's the best thing you can possibly do for a small podcast just trying to make it in the world. It's
kind of crazy. I didn't expect it to explode so much. Well, and it really kind of...
It's been good. It's been really, really good. People have been liking it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and smash that notification bell. Just beat it up. Punch it in the mouth. Right, Dave?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, boy. I mean, and please, guys, if leave in the comments if you guys want to maybe have a faction focus that you want to hear about. Right. We're more than willing to try to find people that are more experts than us, and much like Dave here, like, I have no idea about world leaders. That's right. And that's why he's here to talk about it.
We are lucky that we have,
we need you.
we are lucky we can pull from a depth of knowledge. So if people want to hear a deep cut on whatever faction in the competitive meta, let us know. We're happy to do it.
Calgary community is a great place to pull on knowledge from all sorts of different factions.
And we have a insane competitive pool here.
We do. Absolutely do.
It's very difficult to be, even to win one of our GTs.
Gotta go hard.
It's very difficult.
Yeah. It was hard to beat. It was hard to play even in like the local, the 2v2 attack on CAX here, but we love it. We love it here.
Yeah. They treat us pretty good. So, yeah. Well, hey, thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Peace.
Easy peasy.